The fears of rising cases once again in Maharashtra and specifically in Mumbai and the MMR region has spooked people, investors, citizens, businesses, and of course the stock markets. The fear is that rising cases could lead to another round of restrictions or even mini versions of lockdown. In fact, over the weekend, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Uddhav Thackeray, warned that if people didn't mask up and adhere to social distancing norms, they could be inviting another round of lockdowns in 8 to 15 days. So how dire is the situation? Why have we suddenly seen another spike in cases? And is there a very real chance of lockdown or not? To speak about all of this, I'm joined now by the BMC Commissioner, Mr. Iqbal Singh Chahal. Mr. Chahal, thank you so much for giving us the time on ET Now to explain what is happening in the financial capital and maximum city, Mumbai. Let me begin by asking you why we have seen this resurgence in cases in the last couple of weeks.
First of all, good afternoon, Tamanna. Thank you very much for providing me this opportunity to clear the status of COVID situation in Mumbai city under MCGM or BMC, what you call. Right from 14th of February, there was a surge which has been noticed now. And before that, for the last 70 days, whole of December, Jan, and last week of November, we used to have about 350 to 400 cases a day. But on 14th of February, when the surge started, we got 529 cases. And ultimately, day before yesterday, the number of cases went to 940. But silver lining is that now cases are falling again. Against 940 day for yesterday, we had 770. Yesterday we had 770, and today the cases have come down to 600. And we had very high testing. The testing has been between 17,000 to 20,000 in the last 3 days. In fact, 3 days back we did 22,400 testing, the highest ever since the pandemic started last March. But more important than these numbers are three critical factors. One is the positivity, that for every 100 cases you test, how many come positive? We had been maintaining a positivity of 3.5 to 4 throughout December and Jan. But last 5-6 days, the positivity. You will be happy to know that today the positivity is back to 4.0. When the cases have come down to just 600 as per yesterday's testing, the reports which came today early morning, which will be available to the public in the evening today. And second important factor is the mortality rate. Even if the surge is there, right from 14th till 23rd, last 9 days, our deaths have never gone beyond 3 or 4 on a particular day. Like yesterday, again, it was 4. On 14th also, it was 4 deaths. So we have been single digit, less than 5, continuously for the last 9 days. And most important change which I'm seeing, or difference which I'm seeing between last March and November and now, is that earlier we used to get symptomatic and asymptomatic almost 50% cases, 52-48, 55-45 sometimes, many times 50-50. But for the last 7 days continuously, the number of asymptomatic cases are 80%. Yesterday was 82%, today is again 80%. And hardly 20% cases are symptomatic, people who need medication, hospital, beds or treatment. And 80% people are such who have no symptoms and they are simply home quarantined and they just need to isolate themselves till they get negative. But now, we cannot be complacent. We have to be very careful. And with this in mind, and especially in Vidarbha, the eastern part of Maharashtra, things are quite difficult. In fact, in Nagpur, Amravati, Akola, Yavatmal, the positivity has gone as high as 15%, 1.5, against 4% in Mumbai today. And that is a matter of great worry for all of us. And small places like Amravati, which has a population of just 15% of Mumbai's population, has 700 cases. Even Pune, our neighborhood, if you include Pune city, Pimpri-Chinchwad, and the rural areas or the district as a whole, the cases have been going beyond 1,000. And even Nasik has been about 400 to 500 cases a day. So this is a little worrisome. So with that in mind, we have tightened our belts, and we have decided that we have to be very strict in implementation of existing our SOPs. Honorable CM Maharashtra, Honorable Uddhav Thackeray sir, made amply clear day for yesterday evening in Facebook address that the state doesn't want lockdown or state doesn't want any restrictions. And he has very rightly pointed out that it is up to the people how they behave. If they adopt a COVID appropriate behavior, I am sure there'll be no restrictions required. But if they don't show COVID appropriate behavior, like thousands of people are roaming around without masks, there's so much of crowding is there. In marriages, many marriages, thousands of people are coming in against our SOP of 50 only. Then restaurants are getting crowded. So we have to be careful on that front.
Yes. Sure. Mr. Chahal, just a few follow-up questions to all the information you've given. If it seems like there is a more worrisome situation outside Mumbai and other districts of Maharashtra, are there any plans, or would one of the measures be to tighten the inflow of people from these areas into Mumbai city? Would those be the next step you're looking at? And if numbers do not ease, what are the sets of restrictions that you could contemplate?
I will answer this question in two parts. First of all, I have to take care of my own house. And in this, we have decided, and on Sunday, we passed written orders that every Mumbai policeman, 50,000 of them will act as marshals by written order. And they will have power to fine anybody without mask in public domain. Secondly, we have doubled up our BMC marshals from 2,400 to 4,800, and we're going to fine 25,000 people per day against 12,000, 13,000, which we are doing. Yesterday, we had touched 16,000 plus fines. Now, this we are doing to discipline our own eminent citizens, that we have to adopt this COVID appropriate behavior for next 6 to 8 months, so that we are safe at home. Now second issue is people coming from outside. We are already very strict. In fact, we're the first city in the country where since 22nd of November, any passengers coming from any city of Europe, any city of Middle East and South Africa, they were compulsorily institutionally quarantined in hotels for 7 days, which no other city was doing those days in November, December. Some cities were doing only for UK, but we are doing for entire Europe, entire Middle East and South Africa. And last Friday, as per Government of India's fresh directions, we have added Brazil also to that list of compulsory quarantine. Similarly, now there are a number of cases coming in Kerala. We have decided that henceforth, anybody entering Mumbai from Kerala will be subject to RT-PCR test. We're already doing for Delhi, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Goa, and this regime is continuing unabated since 22nd of November. Regarding the trains coming into Mumbai from various parts, we have already launched a very high level of surveillance, and at our all stations we are scrutinizing people and randomly conducting antigen tests, because we have limited capacity of RT-PCR tests. We can't do 50,000 RT-PCR at the stations every day. So we are doing tests and surveillance at the stations also. So whatever best is possible, we are doing that, and I assure you that we leave no stone unturned to ensure that we stick to low positivity in Mumbai.
You have also said that the jumbo centers which BMC had put in place will now be reopened. What are you seeing happening? I mean, what are the medical experts telling you, Mr. Chahal? Is this a second wave that is hitting? Are we seeing new strains, and have any of these new mutations been detected in Mumbai so far?
Well, right now, Mumbai, there is no confirmed new mutant. In fact, one of my hunches that the trains in Mumbai, the local trains, which carry almost 50 lakh people a day, they were lying shut from last March till 31st of Jan. And only on 1st of February, we allowed all our male population to board these trains. And I've been telling for the last 10-15 days that it will take at least 3 weeks time for us to find out if any further cases add up because of this sudden 50 lakh people traveling in trains. And we are exactly 3 weeks away from now, from 1st of February. So some cases may have been attributed to that huge movement in trains also in COVID times. And today's figure of 600 against average figure of 400, 450 coming earlier is quite irrational to that logic of mine. But you know, we always hope for the best, but we always prepare for the worst. So in assuming that I am wrong and something big is coming in an adverse manner, we have already taken meetings with all major private hospitals, all our jumbo center deans, all our municipal BMC hospitals, government hospitals. Yesterday we had day-long meetings, and we decided to activate our COVID care centers, triple C1, triple C2. We have decided to activate and put our COVID jumbo field hospitals, which are DCHC and DCH, in full gear, so that we are not taken by surprise, and we should be prepared for it. So basically, it's a matter of being vigilant and getting fully prepared, nothing else.
Okay, Mr. Chahal, I want to know your views on whether a lockdown will actually be required or if there is efficacy of lockdown. Now, the difference between last year and now is that there has been so much of learning and understanding from all ends, including for policymakers like yourself. Do you really believe that if the cases do spike, and of course we hope it won't, that a lockdown will be of any kind of use or further restrictions will be of any kind of use to break the chain?
Well, Tamanna, you know, Honorable CM Sir has made amply clear that we are absolutely against lockdown. We are absolutely against any new restrictions. And Mumbai is perhaps one of the very few cities, if not the only city in India, where right from last May, June, once we opened something, we never went back, whether it is shops or malls or gyms or salons or theaters or religious places or trains now. Whatever we have opened, not even a single thing we have went back. But we have been very graded and gradual in our response. And today, except schools, I would say rest everything is open. And there's a full flow of almost 5 million people traveling by trains every day since last 3 weeks. That was our hunch that this huge crowd movement will create a lot of problems. But you'll be happy to know that still things are quite within manageable limits. But we are living in COVID times. And in COVID times, people should not think, our eminent citizens should not think that COVID is over or COVID is gone. It is very much there. So we must have COVID appropriate behavior, whether we are going to theaters, cinema halls, marriage venues, or we are partying somewhere. We must have our masks in place, social distancing in place, less crowding. All this, I would make a very humble appeal to our citizens that if we adopt this behavior, we will tide over this crisis in a big way.
What is the kind of timeline you see for reopening of schools and allowing more people to get onto Mumbai locals and trains right now? And of course, for more staffing in offices, in private offices. Are there any timelines for any of this, or has this been pushed forward even more because of this spike in cases?
You know, Tamanna, Honorable CM Sir made a very fervent appeal. And I would also like to make a very humble appeal to all our corporate sector that we must, since we are living in COVID times, we must have a COVID appropriate response in the sense that the office's timing must be staggered. Now, everybody cannot open office at 9 or 10 p.m. and close at 5:30 p.m. Then we have huge rush in trains in the morning and evening. So people opening from 8 to, somebody can have office timing from 8 to 4, then 9 to 5, then 10 to 6, then maybe 11 to 7 or 12 to 8. This type of spacing which is staggering is done, it is going to help us in a big way in ensuring that there's no crowding in public places, there's no crowding in trains and buses. So I make a very humble and fervent appeal to all our corporate sector that please rethink of your office hours and stagger it so that we can give a very befitting reply to this COVID situation where crowding is a big no. And as far as your question of opening schools are concerned, we are very minutely and closely watching the situation on a daily basis. Next 15 days are going to be very crucial for us. And if things stabilize, then the next on the block is opening of schools.
Just one last question, Mr. Chahal, because I know you're a busy man, is about vaccination and the pace of vaccination. There has been a lot of talk and a debate right now on how we can increase the pace of vaccination, possibly increase vaccinations in areas which are vulnerable, like Maharashtra and Kerala right now, like in Mumbai. So many in the private sector have come forward, want to help with rollout of vaccinations. Companies want to vaccinate their employees. Do you think this is the time for it?
Yeah, I will strongly recommend a mass scale vaccination. You know, Government of India is driving the vaccine campaign for the entire country, and rightly so. They must have a single window of driving it through the country when we have to vaccinate 135 crore people in our nation. So the first phase started with the healthcare workers on 16th of Jan. The second phase started on 4th of February when we took on frontline workers vaccination program. And now we are awaiting the announcement and unfolding of the third phase of vaccination, where everybody who's more than 50 years of age will be covered. So I'm looking forward to it. We have tied up all private hospitals also, and I can assure you that once the Government of India gives us talks and green signal, we'll go whole hog and in a big way and launch a massive exercise of vaccination to finish vaccination as early as possible, because that is the permanent solution to this COVID issue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Chahal, for speaking with us today. The BMC commissioner there talking about how vaccinations are the permanent solutions, and he is in favor of the private sector stepping in as well. The next 15 days will be crucial for Mumbai city.